Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. How are you? Again, with a very nice and informative video. I am here with you. My name is Sajjad Bacha and I am a teacher of English literature, linguistics, phonetics and phonology. So today I am going to give you some information about English literature. But before going to discuss English literature, we will first try to know that what is literature. In Urdu, it is known as adab. Simply, you can say that literature is the reflection of human deeds, human thoughts, human ideas, human concepts and human actions. And these thoughts, ideas or actions are expressed in words and sometimes in oral, means non-verbal form. So, the definition of literature is that literature refers to the oral. Oral means that before the invention of the written words, alphabets, people were exchanging their ideas and information with each other in the form of songs or in the form of stories. All written works are imaginative. Imaginative means which is fictional, which is not the product of the intellect and which cannot be verified. It is the type of literature which is mainly the product of the heart. And you have to remember very much that the poetry that deals with the heart will be called a special type of poetry that will be known as romantic poetry. Then it may be artistic. Artistic means based on rules and regulation. Based on rules and regulation refers to another type of poetry that is known as classical poetry. Classical poetry is poetry which is based on rules, regulation, or it may be intellectual. Intellectual means based on science. Value typically characterized by the use of language. Typically, there will be used language, but you know that language means the tool of communication among the people. This language is mainly of two types. One is oral and the other is called verbal. Oral is one in which there is no writing, and in verbal there is always the use of writing, which convey ideas. Human beings are thinking animals. They are having the power to develop ideas, concepts, thoughts. So those ideas are always in need of expression. As it is said that a very good idea without expression is useless. So these ideas are expressed in different forms by using different genres or tools of literature. It may be expressing emotions, or it may be sharing experiences. So the expression of ideas emotions and experience in using the language is called literature. And Shakespeare defined literature as that literature is life. The reflection of life, what has taken place in life, that is called literature. Now, history of literature, you know that English history, although it is known as English history, but its origin is there in ancient literature. Ancient literature that starts with 300 BC to 500 BC. And this ancient literature was mainly divided into two. One is called Greek literature. Greek literature starts with 800 BC and ends with 200 BC. And the prominent writer or the poets of Greek literature are Homer. He wrote Iliad and Odyssey, and then he was a poet. Then Sophocles, Aeschylus, Euripides, they are known as tragic writers. They wrote different tragedies. Then after Greek literature we come to Roman literature. Roman literature starts with BC to 500. In Roman literature, the most prominent poets were Virgil and his colleagues, but Virgil got popularity because he wrote Aeneid. And then there is medieval literature that starts with 14th century and ends with 17th century. Medieval literature is further divided into two. The first one is called Italian Renaissance. Renaissance means the rebirth of knowledge. These periods are known as Dark Ages. Because in these periods there were no such proper way of writing literature. They were mostly under the influence of the past histories, and that were most of the time moralistic. It was based on teaching morality, evil, sins, goodness, virtue, etc. Then Italian Renaissance, it is related with Petrarch and Boccaccio. They were the prominent, and they were sonnetiers. We will discuss in the coming lecture that what is meant by sonnet. But the most important, that is called English Renaissance, that starts with 16th to 17th century, and here there lies the most important point, that is known as Chaucer. Chaucer, Canterbury Tale, he is known as the father of English poetry. Then after Chaucer you will come to Edmund Spenser, and Edmund Spenser is known for the most important poetical work, that is called Fairy Queen. Then there is a dramatist that is known as Christopher Marlowe, and there is the drama of Dr. Faustus, which we people are teaching in literature. But the shining star, the rising star, the phoenix of English literature, that is William Shakespeare. It is said about Shakespeare that he was not influenced by the time, but he influenced the time. He was a tragedy writer, and you know about Hamlet, Macbeth, and so many. Then he wrote comedies, and then poetic drama, The Tempest. So this is a general introduction, and this is known as the globe. In this globe, the first one is ancient literature, that is Greek and Roman. After that there is medieval literature, that is based on Italian Renaissance and English Renaissance, and now we will come to 16 to 17, and this is known as the dawn of English literature. The dawn of English literature, and it is, I think, known as Elizabethan age, because Queen Elizabeth was there on the throne of the British. So Chaucer, Canterbury and Spenser, Fairy Queen. So dear students, it's the first lecture for you people about English literature, and now we have just entered into the world of English literature. You are requested to watch this video and subscribe the channel for watching further very informative videos. Thank you.